Other living entities. So this is what our movement is really about. It's not only that we preach to the human species, but we try to elevate everything that's in our presence. So even if you have nobody to preach to and nobody to sing to, you continue doing it because there's other entities that are being elevated. So everybody please put your hands up in the air and repeat after me. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Hare Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama,
Rama Rama,
Rama Rama,
Hare Hare,
Hare Hare.
So I also want to thank the congregation or the support from Srila Prabhupāda, Prema, Namahatta. If you look around you, these are the devotees from our Namahatta. We have them. They can't attend on a Thursday at our Namahatta. They are really the backbone of this Namahatta. So, let's just give them also a nice round of applause. So, yeah. You have a Bhagavad Gita, right?
No, I don't.
Yes,
Prabhu, can you choose a number from 1 to 18? Any number?
Me.
Prabhu, yeah. Yeah.
7.
7. Isaiah?
11.
7, 11. Let's see what we have to say here. Oh gosh, actually I opened it to us. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So reading is taken from Bhagavad Gita as it is. The chapter is 7. It's entitled The Knowledge of the Absolute, and the text is 7. And Krishna is speaking here to Arjuna, and he's saying, I am the strength of the strong, devoid of passion and desire. I am sex life, which is not contrary to religious principles, Lord of the Bharatas, Arjuna. And Srila Prabhupada says, the strong man's strength should be applied to protect the weak, not for personal aggression. Similarly, sex life, according to religious principles, should be for the propagation of children, not otherwise. The responsibility of parents is then to make the offspring Krishna consciousness. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gnanjana Shalakaya Chakshuramitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Caitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitamena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Didatika Sukutane He Krishna Karana Sandhu Dina Bandhu Jagapate Kopisha Kopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namasude Tapta Kanchani Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhana Satadevi Prananami Haripriya Vanchakalpa Trivesha Kripa Sandhu Revasya Patitanam Pavaliya Vaishnaviya Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasad Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Caitanya Swami Janamine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasad Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Janamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Vijacharine Nishesha Shinavaya Siddhartha Jai Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Sri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Rama. So this Namahatta, Gaura Hari Prema Namahatta. Anybody knows what's the meaning of this? Gaura Hari Prema Namahatta. It's a very, very beautiful name. Gaura Hari. Gaura, golden complexion. Gauranga, it's the name of Krishna. Hari, many, many different explanations it's given. One who removes obstacles, Hari, also referred to as Krishna's name. Prema, one who has love for Lord Caitanya, the golden avatar. So Gaura Hari is the love for Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. And of course, we're going to speak about Lord Caitanya today, right? Because Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, he came for everybody. Everybody was his children, right? And the verse talks about that. So, how many of you have read Srimad Bhagavatam here? Sorry, I also can't put my hand down. Anyway, Bhagavatam is a conversation between Maharaj Parikshit and Sukadeva Goswami. And in the presence, Sutta Goswami is basically recording the entire conversation. And one of the questions, Maharaj Parikshit, he asks Sukadeva Goswami, he says, what is the most important part to liberation? Or what process does one follow in order to get liberation? And Sukadeva Goswami, he says, the process to follow is through the process of atonement. So Maharaj Parikshit, he thinks about it and he thinks, but how can this be true? Because through the process of atonement means that I commit a sin and then I atone for it. And then I commit another sin or the same sin and then I atone for it again. And I continue doing that. And then he raises the question and he says, but this is compared to a bathing of a baby elephant. Why is that? How does a baby elephant take bath? So the baby elephant, he feels hot. He goes into the river, splashes around, washes himself, feels cold, goes back into the sand, starts to roll himself in the sand to feel warm. Then he goes back into the river and he takes a bath again and he repeats this process. So this process of atonement is very, very similar to the bathing of a baby elephant, which technically, if we understand, this does not stop. And he says, this part of atonement does not really stop the tendency or to uproot this tendency of sin. Therefore, we cannot accept it. So Sukadeva Goswami, who's now playing the role of the spiritual master, he says, very, very good. Because you are now the disciple and it is my duty also to test you. So you'll find that those of you who are initiated as well to the test will come. And we have to pass like this here. And he says, yes, you're correct. The path to liberation, or the process of liberation, is really atonement. But it is through the process of Krishna consciousness. And how does Krishna speak to us about this path of liberation? Krishna makes it very clear in many, many verses. And he talks in 1865, he says, always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. And then he also says in 1866, which is really, really a very, very powerful verse. Anybody? 1866? Damodar? It's one of your favorite verses. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. So this is really, really a very, very strong verse, right? Because Krishna is saying in this verse here, first you surrender, you give up everything, then I'll give you the reward, right? And this word surrender, gosh, it's such a strong word. I mean, we surrender to our families, the husband surrenders to the wife, right, in the house. He goes to work, he surrenders to his boss. But surrender, really, you can branch off in two ways to surrender, or two branches. And when Krishna says surrender in this, does he mean that you have to give up everything and go to the forest, right? So in other words, if you have like a full-time job and a family and 3 kids or even 12 kids or whatever it is, you have to give that up and go to the forest, right? And perform. That's what he means, right? When he says surrender. Right? Anybody? No, he doesn't mean that. What does he mean? What does he mean if he doesn't mean that? Yes, sir. So that's very, very correct. That's true. So in other words, he's saying that you have to surrender the results of your activities. So in other words, if you like to make money, there's nothing wrong with making money. Go ahead and make money. But use that money in the service of Krishna consciousness. You like to eat? No problem. Eat how much you want. But first offer it to Krishna. Let it become prasad and then you take it. This is the real mood of surrender. Not that you have to give up all your activities. It's virtually impossible to give up activities in this life, right? This material world is designed to create this, facilitize the way we basically perform our acts or duties. So the second part of surrender is that we have to have the mood. Of course, this may not be possible. I don't think it's really possible. The mood of Draupadi. Anybody knows how Draupadi surrendered? So during the battle or the Mahabharata, when the Pandavas lost everything, in the gambling match they were gambling, right? And they lost everything. There was only one thing left, and that was Draupadi. And even then too, they gambled Draupadi and they lost. And Dushashan, it is said that he forcefully dragged her into this arena where the entire Pandavas were there. Bhima, Arjuna, even grandfather Bhishma was there, all of them. And he said that he dragged her by the hair and he pulled her into this arena and he tried to disrobe her. He wanted to basically, make the Pandav brothers feel very embarrassed. And of course, a Kshatriya is bound by his honor. They could not interfere. As much as she called, Bhima, help me, Bhishma, help me, they wouldn't interfere because that's their honor. So we got Dushashan is like, she's got a sari and he's pulling the sari like this here and he's trying to, disrobe her, and she's holding the sari with the 2 hands, and then she sees nobody's helping her, then she still continues to hold the sari and she puts her hand up and she screams for Krishna, help me, Krishna, help me. And guess what happened? Guess what happened? Anybody? Did Krishna come down and kill Dushashan? No. What did he do? Anybody? Did he do anything at all? Sorry? He didn't do nothing. Oh. Okay. And that is true. He did nothing. He did nothing because it is only when she decided to fully surrender unto him by letting go of that one hand. She had one hand on the top and letting go of that sari with the other hand, and she put both her hands in the air. Fully surrendered unto Krishna and totally trusting him. And that is when the sari became unlimited. It is said that Dushashan got so tired of pulling the sari that he just gave up. He couldn't. The sari was unlimited. So of course we can't have that kind of surrender, right? And I'm not advocating, Mataji's, please, that if ever you're in this situation, let go of your sari. Don't ever do that, right? So yeah, that's just to give you an indication of the type of surrender. Of course we surrender in our different ways. Everybody's surrender is different, and on a daily basis we're all surrendering, we're all making some type of surrender. So so we should try to surrender in some way like that to Krishna, surrender our results and our activities. So then, if Krishna is expecting this type of surrender from us, how can we say that Krishna is merciful? Because there's a verse that describes Krishna and it says, Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu, which means that Krishna is an ocean of mercy. Why ocean? If you have some water shortage today, you can go to to the mall, to the shop, and you can buy 5 liters of water. It's measured. You can buy 10 liters. You have a Jojo tank at home, maybe 1,000 liters, you can measure it. Maybe you can even measure 2,000, 5,000, maybe 100, I don't know, 50,000 liters or something like that you could measure. But can you measure the amount of water in an ocean? Impossible, right? So this is the mercy of Krishna. He Karuna Sindhu, an ocean of mercy. But then now we seem to be having a contradiction here. Because if Krishna is an ocean of mercy, why is he putting these restrictions and conditions on us? First you surrender, then I give you protection. Contradictory, right? Something wrong there, right? Something wrong with the Bhagavad Gita. Huh? No, not at all. Not at all. Krishna is an ocean of mercy. And this is displayed when he comes down as Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Nama Vedanyaya Krishnaya. So he says, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu is the most merciful, most magnificent incarnation of all. And it is confirmed in the scriptures, in the Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna Varna Tusha Krishna Varna Krishna Sangopanga Sarpashadam Yagnai Sanketana Trayae Yajanti Hisomele Soham. Something like that it was. I may have got it a bit wrong. But anyway, it said that Krishna will come down, and it says Krishna, which means that his complexion will not be blackish. He will come down with his associates, and his weapon will not be the disc or any other type of physical weapon, but the weapon will be the holy name, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You see, when Krishna left this planet 5,000 years ago, right? He could see that dharma or duty will fall away, and people became very, very, very sinful. I mean, if you look at the world around us today, everybody is practically living in prisons. I mean, we have to have these huge burglar guards, we have to have these fancy gates, some of us have to have these beams. We don't even know who are our neighbors. Crime rate has escalated. There's a shortage of water, there's sometimes a shortage of food. We're living in times which is not very nice. People have basically forgotten their real identity, their relationship with God. And they've forgotten these very, very important questions. And that is, who am I? Where did I come from? Is there God? Do I have a relationship with Him? And if I have a relationship with Him, how do I re-establish that lost relationship? Because right now, if these questions are not present, then we know better than animals, right? Because an animal can't ask this question. He cannot look for his relationship. He cannot stop the cycle of repeated birth and death. Only in this human form can we ask these questions. And Bhagavad Gita has all these answers to the questions. It has the answers, it has the process, and if you follow that process, you can go back home, back to Godhead in this lifetime. You don't have to come back. As North Indian, South Indian, we accept the process of reincarnation, right? How many of you don't accept it yet? It's very scientific. There's science to back up reincarnation right now. That's another topic. But according to the scripture, there's 8,400,000 different species of life. And at any given time, we could take birth in any one of those forms. Actually, right now, the way we are leading our life or living our life is basically molding our next body in our next life. But we don't want to come back here. We don't want to come back here. And that's why Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu is come down 500 years ago as Lord Caitanya. And this form is a combination of Radha and Krishna to give us this holy name. And there's no conditions. He doesn't say, you do this, or you do that, or you give up this, or you give up that. He says, come as you are. Come in whatever circumstances you are. Come as you are and just chant the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we are not minimizing Lord Krishna's position in any way, right? We are just saying that this is Lord Krishna himself, but in another form. So, and he also, this verse also speaks about Su Med Soha, which is at the end. And he says that, okay, how many of you think you're intelligent here? Anybody? You have to think you are intelligent. Why not? So you're not intelligent. Really, you're not intelligent. You are very intelligent. Because according to the verse, it says, Su Medusaha, which means just not intelligent, but very intelligent. Those who perform, who follow this process of Krishna consciousness is not intelligent, but very intelligent. So next time somebody asks you, of course we don't have to be egoistic about it, but this is according to the verse. We are not saying it, right? The Bhagavatam is saying it. That followers of Krishna consciousness, the followers of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, they are very, very intelligent. So Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu came down 500 years ago. His birth is mentioned and confirmed in many, many scriptures. And, I'm just going to end with this here very quickly. There's many, many prophets and personalities that we know of that have done so many miracles. Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu has done so many more. How many of you have ever danced with a lion here? Or a tiger? Anybody? Desire? Have you done it? Can you do it? Are you able to train a lion maybe? Or a tiger? Can you eat with a lion?
I nearly danced with a station this evening.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know if that's close enough, but let's leave it there.
This one was vicious.
When Lord Caitanya was present, when he walked into the forest singing the holy names, he had the lions and the tigers all dance together with him. Have we seen that? It comes close to us, to basically, what do you call this here? A circus. But even then too, they have to be trained to do this, right? And some of them even become aggressive, right? It's impossible, virtually impossible to just go dance with a tiger. But yet, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, when he walked in that forest, all the animals followed him and danced with him. At one point, at the Rath Yatra Khat, there was this huge Rath Yatra Khat. Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, Devis on it. And for those of you who know about the Rath Yatra Khat, if Jagannath doesn't want to move, nobody can make him move. And if he doesn't want to stop, nobody can stop him. And this was one time there, where Jagannath refused to move. And they caught like 1,000 elephants, they brought them together, and they tied them to this cart. And they were getting them to pull. And these elephants are pulling the cart, and the cart doesn't want to move. Doesn't want to move. And this, people who are in charge of the elephants, they practically started beating them to move. But the cart still won't want to move. And Lord Caitanya just goes in the back of the cart, puts his head there, just chants, and immediately Jagannath starts moving. Didn't even need 1,000 elephants. That is the might of Lord Caitanya. So there's quite a few pastimes. There was one pastime with mango. It wasn't mango season. And Lord Chaitanya's disciples, they wanted to eat mango. And Lord Caitanya said, just get me a seed. Somehow they managed to find one seed somewhere. It was very, very, dirty, and, I don't think anything could come out from that seed, But he struck the ground, he put the seed in there, and next moment, this beautiful mango tree came out. And it is said that the mangoes were so tasty, they didn't even have a skin on them, and they didn't even have seeds in them. Absolutely delicious mangoes. So these are the pastimes of Lord Caitanya. So we follow Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. We take him as, we understand that he is the Supreme Person of Godhead. and we worship Him, and we thank Him for bringing this Maha Mantra to us. Because without the mantra, we would all be lost. And when we speak about the mantra, what are we asking for? What do we want from the mantra? Who's not chanting here? Everybody's chanting? Why are we chanting? If you want something in life, you do it, right? Paramatma, what is your field of working?
A technician.
Technician. Did you have to put any effort into it?
Yes.
Because that's what you wanted. You wanted a result.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Similarly, when we're chanting, what result we want? Anybody? We must know what we want, otherwise we'll be just doing it. Of course, there is some benefit whether you do it or not. That's the power of the holy name. Even if you do it unconsciously, you say Rama, Rama, Hyper Rama, or something like that, there's still benefit. But what do we want when we chant the mantra?
Peace of mind.
Peace of mind? There's no real wrong answer here. To be engaged in service. Yeah, that's the answer I'm looking for actually. To be engaged, because when we're chanting this mantra, we're asking the Lord, Radharani, please engage us in devotional service. Why do we want to be engaged in devotional service? Why? Because there's one thing that Krishna is attracted to. Krishna is all attractive. That's what it means. Krishna means all attractive. But there's one thing that attracts even Krishna, and that is devotional service. So when we're chanting, we're asking for devotional service. So, because devotional service will also purify the heart, and it will also destroy our sins, and it will make us eligible to enter into the spiritual world. So we must continue chanting. If we're doing 1 round, continue with it every day. If we're doing 2 rounds, we're doing 5 rounds, 16 rounds, whatever it is, just continue doing it. There's a special time we should actually do it. It's called, I don't know if many of you all wake up. It's actually during the Brahma Muhurta time. This is the time, the 24 hours is divided into muhurtas. We'll speak about this some other time. But about 1.5 hours before sunrise, this is called a Brahma Muhurta time. It is a very, very auspicious time. Everything is multiplied. The results is multiplied. So we try to get up and we try to do our japa this time here. If you want to do some meditation and things like that, it's also very, very nice. In fact, if you look at the world leaders, the most successful ones out there, they talk about the 4 a.m. club. And many of them say, if you ask them, they'll tell you, we get up at 4 a.m. We belong to this club. The most successful businessmen get up this time here, because this is a time where you can get most done and most rewards in this time here. But yeah, again, this is a topic for another day. So I want to stop there, and I hope that I haven't said anything to offend anybody. We're all learning, and thank you again for the opportunity, and hopefully we'll see you again. Srila Prabhupāda ki Jai. Gaura.
Gaura.
Prabhupāda.